Good. So here we are. We're back with race 13, unlucky 13, heat E. And get my crib sheet because I don't know all the numbers. We've got Chuck Milligan in this. I'm not sure. I thought he was out of it, but we'll see how he gets on. So Chuck Milligan looking for a port end start. 159 is Bengt Olsberg, also going for the port end. So is Torvald Clem coming up. We'll see how they get on. Looks like it might be a good start. Yeah, good start. So the boats to leeward are going to struggle when they have to tack on to port. 149's got a good lane out there. He's Peter Tan. Then the boat to windward 05 is Martin Bizak from Croatia. Now he's got a really good line and a good lift, so I think he and 19, which is Norbert Heinz, I think they're going to be looking good. And as I say that, there's a 20-degree left-hand lift, which changes the picture entirely. Oddly enough, the boats inshore are not getting the lift that the boats further out have. And now the wind shifts around a little bit to the right. So the boats out in the middle of the heading towards the middle of the reservoir are in a much better position. They're in clear wind, going fast, and in pressure. Now we've got a gaggle of 3, 6, 9, 11 boats coming inshore right into the harbour wall. So we will see how they come out. That's Chuck Milligan coming round behind them in his vis. The boat, yeah, so the guy who got off the line and tacked on to port early-ish is in good pressure on a big lift, and he's going to be our race leader. So a lovely breeze now. The jumpers have come off, the sun is shining, and we're really loving life on the shore here. And the wind has come in and it's blown the flies away, so that's made life a lot more pleasant. So as the leaders come up to the windward gate, the leader's tacked for the left-hand mark, and he's got a very healthy lead. Thank you very much. What a nice position to be in. You get the best start, a clear lane, you do a couple of tacks on wind shifts, and you end up with, we'll see how big the lead is. Actually, it might not be that big now. He's done that extra tack. Somebody's gone under him, and in fact he's going to end up second because of that last tack. So round go the two leaders. First is try and pick them up. So first is 24, which is Jean-Pascal Moral from France. And 05, Martin Bizak is also, he's in close contention, so the lead is between these two. And then the yellow boat behind to windward is, well, trouble with my focus, 66. 66 is Claudio Vaz from Brazil. So let's watch the boats as we come down to the leeward gate. Breeze is just a nice mid-A rig weather, light to mid-A rig conditions, perfect for the World Championships. Speed is your friend, as is the ability to see which way the shifts are moving. pace of life is a bit slower today, as the boats are not flying down the waves on the surf, but it's just lovely conditions. Still a nice datchet chop to catch people out when going upwind. And here we go round the top mark, 24 first. That's Jean-Pascal Morel from France. 05 second, Martin Bizak from Croatia second. Looks like 19, I think that was Norbert Heinz, yep. Round the mark next, followed by, I think that was 66, which will be Claudio Vaz. So they're all heading into the side of the reservoir. It's always tricky if you look at the line. Sometimes the boat in front gets a bit of a header and then the boat behind gets a lift, and you can often get trapped. So 24.05, 66 it was Claudio Vaz, 81 is Baron Bremer from the USA, 43 is Eddie Bargate from Bermuda, and then coming in 54 is my number, Gary Winton. So the two leaders are making their way out into the reservoir. They've got a little pressure, nice steady pressure. Gary Winton coming off, hoping 43 is going to tack, but he doesn't. So the breeze is lifting. Our two leaders have fallen into a bit of a hole, and yellow 19 always got headed. So tricky, these conditions. Oh, and a couple of Egyptian geese clear the water in front of the competitors. Obviously out for a nice day's paddling, and then along come 20 plus yachts disturbing your peace. Mind you, they've got plenty of reservoir to move to. So the majority of the fleet sailing on port up the beat now. Very hard to see the shifts. I mean, this is how Alexis Carre monitors the shifts up here. I have no idea, but he seems to have a sixth sense for where the best place to be. Now, our two leaders have gone out exploring sort of more stable wind in the center of the reservoir, which is a Carre trick, and we'll see how they get on. They've got a little bit of pressure out there at the moment. Seems to be it always looks as though there's more wind down the shore of the reservoir, but somehow it never quite pays off. When boats get in there, they all look a little more upright. Now, the yellow boat on the inside, who was in third place, has just picked up a big lift off the shoreline. Now, does that mean he's got second place? I think he's still well behind the second boat. So first and second looks secure. Third place looks secure, assuming nothing funny happens on the run. The good news today is nobody's walked into the camera crew, and we haven't had a visit from Ante, who managed to stand between our tripods in one of the races yesterday. Just mentioning Ante, if you ever get a chance to have a look at his boat, he's got a very interesting sheeting system, which I've taken some pictures of, and I might try and do a little profile on that on my blog, because he's got a really interesting setup for adjusting the sails slightly differently on each tack when he's sailing in choppy weather. So more on that after the championship. But if you ever get the chance to have a look at it, do go and take a peek at Ante's boat. So the leaders coming down, just a reminder of who they are. We've got 24, Jean-Pascal Morel of France, followed by Martin Bizac. So they're in a bit of a hole at the moment. Hopefully there won't be any radical changes. There's a band of breeze coming down, which is bringing the fleet down. It's not over yet, for sure. There are no guarantees in this racing. One moment you can be sitting pretty. Yeah, 24's in a real zone of calm, as is Marin. And the fleet come down on breeze. Oh, how frustrating is this for our leaders? Still becalmed, the jib barely goose-winging. Wow, and I can feel wind on my side, which suggests it's coming off the bank of the reservoir. Right, now Jean-Pascal Morel from France has picked up a little bit of breeze and he's got going again, but look at the yellow boat. Coming down, he's made huge gains. Very tricky conditions. So Jean-Pascal coming down to the start, to the leeward gate. Marin coming round from Croatia second, and then is that 16? I think that's Eugenius Ginter, who I've not mentioned before, from Poland. 19, sorry, that's 19. Norbert Heinz is in the yellow boat in third, taking on the fleet and bottling out very quickly. Never worth sailing through the fleet on port tack, especially when they're on a starboard jibe. Right, USA and Brazil, so Claudia Vaz in 66. 54, my namesake, was Gary Winton. A couple of boats trying their luck with the left-hand gate, so that's 149 and Chuck Milligan. 149 is Peter Tan, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with them. If they get a big header, they're going to be in the promotion spots. But we're sailing up in one tack at the moment. I think yesterday we had Datchet at its best. Now we have Datchet at its most elusive. The windsock just off the right hand side of the course is showing the wind to be blowing just off the wall, and you can see they're all laying the mark in one, which means I can probably read out the finishing list. So Jean-Pascal first, Marin second, 19 was Norbert Heinz third, Claudio Vaz fourth, Gary Winton fifth, and 149 Peter Tan, I think, could be 6. It'll be between him and the blue and white boat coming up. There's been a big wind shift, so everything's changed. So the first 3 are safe, but the next 3 have just lost out to the Proteus of 166 Australia which is Richard Smith. Oh, I don't know what Richard's doing. I think he's doing a penalty turn. That's going to take him back out. Gosh, he was so close to promotion and then had a little port and starboard. So the list I read out stands. They're the top 6 and they'll be promoted up into the B heat, who are marching down the pontoon now. B heat, D heat rather, marching down the pontoon now, ready to gain promotion to A heat. The race officer might have to wait a bit because the wind has shifted to an unfavourable direction. So that'll be that. We'll let the remaining boats cross the line and we'll be back for B heat. Sorry, back for D heat. Okay, we're back. You can tell it's warming up. I had a Kit Kat in my bag and it's turned into a soggy mess as the chocolate has melted. So we really have some lovely warm weather now. And the good news for the competitors is it looks like a stable breeze down the lake. So all looking good for them. So this is Heat D, race 13. 54, Gary Winton looking to try and get pole position at the port end. He's got Graham Elliott just to windward of him. So 24 is one of our promoted boats from the previous race. That's Jean-Pascal Morel. 156 sneaking under him, that's Paulo Gomez from Portugal, and he's over. 24's over, they're all over. It's what happens when you have a lay day. They're all full of energy and excited to go for the best start. So reset the starting clock. Really is a glorious day. It's funny, we've got a real contrast here. As I look to the west, we have the lovely sight of Windsor Castle, and as I look to the east, we have a sort of industrial gravel landscape as they're extracting material out of the ground and storing it in huge piles. Looks a bit like a lunar landscape behind. We might get you a picture later on just to show you the attractiveness of the site. So real contrasting views. Look another way and you get lovely trees and a nice big green grassy area. Still back to the racing. No Egyptian geese to interrupt the competitors this time. And a lot of enthusiasm on the start. Looks like the wind's gone right a bit, so it's going to be hard for the competitors to stay behind the line. I'd say they're all trying to be a little over enthusiastic at the moment, but I can see the other end of the line from where I'm standing, so could be a clean start. No flags up to penalise any competitors over the line. Jean Morel is at the leeward end, Jean-Pascal Morel rather. Looking clean, people hanging back. Oh, bit of a contact. Yeah, I think you might have heard that. So boats at the windward end have got a significant lift at the moment. but as you know, things can change really rapidly. The boats at the port end have got the same lift, and they've got a nice bit of pressure. Oh, someone tacked off the shore and people were a little unkind to him. So the boat that, oh, another contact there. The boat that made it all the way to the pontoon has come out on a nice lift and in good pressure. There's a calm area in the middle of the fleet, so you can see there a little upright. There's more pressure coming for the boats on the left hand side, and indeed it's lifting pressure. So it looks like we might have an early leader already, and there's a lot of breeze coming down the reservoir, so everything should stabilize nicely. And our man on the left, and I'll see if I can get a number. Number 20 from Brazil is Robert Lindstad. So he's got a very nice early lead, sensibly tacked up to get even more of the left-hand shift. They won't abandon the race because boats have had to tack prior to arriving at the windward mark. They will not lay it in one. So we do have an early leader, which is the boat on the left-hand side. There is one about 30-40 yards to leeward of him, and he may, if he gets a good shift, he may actually pop out in front. The rest are all in a line, so it's anybody's guess. So the boat on the left has elected to go to the left-hand mark. Boat on the right, I think, is going to, yeah, he's going to be the leader. So Graham Elliott leads around the windward mark, second place just going around the right mark, with third place going around the left mark. So we have 20 is second, which is Robert Lindstad, and then the green boat 45 is third, Colin Cashmore. So those three have got a little bit of a gap, but the rest of the fleet are coming down on a gust. Which has been picked up by the third boat. The leader's well sheeted in, I think. Now he's goose-winged. Okay, yeah, the leader's picked up the breeze and now progressing forward. So the first three are away and clear for the moment. The next three are all in a line, and I think they're going to be, yeah, they're going to be challenged by the next 4 or 5 boats behind them. So I suspect they're going to go round the left-hand gate. The challenge you'll get here is the wind direction at the moment is coming off the wall, and it's going to roll down across the reservoir. So what you need to do is you need to find the gap, as it were, where the wind is coming down hitting the water. If you get into a phase where you miss that and the wind's actually going up again, you're going to be sitting in no wind. So Graham's tacked, and he's tacked back. A couple of nice little shifts there, so he's gained a few yards. Coming back towards the shore, there's more breeze coming down. So Graham's now tacked up on port in 09. 45 from New Zealand, I think that was Colin Cashmore. Yep, Colin Cashmore. And then 87 from Germany is Torsten Fiddlebrandt. And then 19 is Norbert Heinz. So look at number 9 and 20. 9 is parked. And you see what I mean about the wind rolling. If you look at this line of boats, 45, 87, 19, they're all sitting in wind. And then 20, a bit further out, has picked up the breeze again and gaining nicely on Graham. So a few boats have elected to go round the left-hand gate out into the middle of the reservoir, and they've picked up a nice breeze and have been sailing in consistent breeze, so they may make a gain. As I say, it all depends what happens further up the course, but I think there's more wind out in the middle of the reservoir than there is inshore. So again, the leaders have found a calm spot and a header. So there's the blue boat out to in the centre of the reservoir is just gaining in steady pressure. The boats inshore pick up massive left-hand lifts, but then the wind leaves them again and they sit there almost becalmed with a header. So the blue boat that took the left-hand gate could get into the promotional slot. Big breeze coming down. Leaders are just about to get into it. There they go. Now the wind is headed, so no, it's lifting again on port. Might have been a good opportunity for the right-hand blue boat to tack. That gust is so strong, people are having trouble tacking, and the leaders are looking to tack for the mark at some point. So I think the guy who went round the left-hand gate and just put a long port tack in out all the way up to the weather mark, I think has got himself from the sort of middle of the pack to 4th or 5th. He's now tacking across. Seems to have lost the wind for a minute. But yeah, he could be in 4th or 5th. Let's see how they go round. So the leaders remain the same. So we have, Roberto Lindstad, followed by Graham Elliott, followed by 45, which was Colin Cashmore from New Zealand, and then behind him is 19, which was Norbert Heinz, and then pushing out into the lake is 50, which is Thomas Emwall from Sweden, and he's out in a nice patch of breeze. So is he on a ladder? The 2 boats, 3, 4 boats inshore of him are in a bit of a calm. Thomas is still in that breeze out in the middle. He's just got one puff. He doesn't want to come inshore too much because he'll move out of that band of breeze. He's done well there. I think he's gone from, so 50, he's gone from about 7th into 5th, maybe 6th. Depends how they approach this leeward mark. So our leaders, shall we come round to the mark? Leaders coming round the mark now. Both going to go right, I suspect. And there we go, nice clear rounding so they don't touch the mark. Both pushing in towards the shore. Graham's slightly in the lee of the lead boat. You can see slightly more upright, affected by the dirt. Oh, and he tacks straight into more dirt. So he'll free off a bit maybe, and a couple of starboard boats coming down. You don't want to go near them. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you're first or second. You just want to be in the top 6. So we'll see what happens. There's one boat.
112. Acknowledge.
142. Sorry, 149 went round the left-hand gate.
Okay.
Peter Tan, and this might be a canny move because the boats inshore are now becalmed, and Peter's still sailing in a nice steady breeze. Question is, will he have wind to tack across? And there's another band of wind coming down the reservoir, so this could work out really well for Peter Tan. So he's the blue boat heading past coming up to the windsock. So all the other boats behind him and inshore are being becalmed. So Peter's tacked. Oh, he tacked a little early for the band of breeze coming down. I think I'd have gone on just a little further to meet her, but it's all about protecting. He's got a nice starboard lift. He's just working up the edge of the puff, and there's more wind coming to him. So maybe he was right to tack when he did. So he's come up to 4th. There's another boat pushing his way out in the middle of the reservoir, also in good wind. So the fight for the last promotional place is going to be between the yellow boat 50 and 181. So 50 is Thomas Emwell, and 181 it's going to be close. We won't know till the finish. Graham Elliott's got about a 30-degree lift taking him across the finish line, so the boat's out in the reservoir now, maybe severely punished. This is incredible. We had a guaranteed top 6, and now it's all changed. Big left-hand shift that's come across. So So 193 and 19 are going to be our final promotional boats. So 19 was Norbert Heinz, and then the poor guys who went out to the right of the reservoir just got dumped by the wind. Initially looking good, but not so good at the end. A significant ladder there for 3 of the boats. Alright, so that's it. We'll let the fleet cross as Heat C gets ready to launch. And we're back, race 13, heat C. A couple of surprises in the fleet, Graham Elliott 09 and Paolo Cappa. Both will be hoping to get promotion out of this, along with Tim Hand from the UK as well. And, oh, I thought I saw Antti, but it was 90 rather than 30. So, any other surprises? Looks like port end start. Looks like a port end start with Josh King, another surprise down at the port end. Tricky start. Josh King's going to be a little exposed with 130 underneath him. Now he accelerates and he's got room. 130 just got away and should be able to tack across the fleet. He was trying a tack then and the wind just lifted for him. Lifting, and then it's done a bit of a... Oh, look at that, 130's just lost the breeze. That's incredible. Look at that, the fleet stormed ahead and poor old Paolo's just stuck in nothing. And then some boats to leeward have becalmed, the wind's all over the shot, coming off the reservoir. Oh, poor Paolo really got dumped there, and still being... Oh, that's really made... I mean, it may be this race gets abandoned, because if the wind carries on like this, they'll sail up to the first mark in one tack. Golly, it's really... Yeah, I'm not really quite sure what to say. The wind's rolling off the reservoir. The boats out in the middle have got a nice steady breeze, and the boats inshore are becalmed, and then they pick up a puff and then they get becalmed. So they've got some breeze again inshore, but not very much. Okay, so they're laying it in one, so one would imagine they will...
Are we happy with this? Yeah, no tacks. Laid it in one.
Yeah, that's okay. We're too busy thinking about course changes.
So I think nobody tacked for the windward mark. I think it's going to be race abandoned. Race officer's just gone walking up with the microphone. Is that? Yeah, so race abandoned. We got to think about...
We're in between the two now, Nigel.
Yeah. I was going to say, looking at these guys sailing up on the port, could be the stadium. Okay, we'll wrap it up there. The race is going to be abandoned. We'll just let the camera roll for a minute, but yeah, there goes the whistle. Race abandoned. So we'll stop filming there and wait while they reset the course. We may even move to a new course area.
We have just moved to the clubhouse course because the southwesterly wind that we had has shifted round, and so everybody's decamped here. We're into race 13, Heat C. Now, Nigel, how have things been going this morning?
Well, it's been pretty difficult for the competitors. Bar one, Alexis Carey, I think he's got special goggles on with AI components in it, because he's found every single wind shift out there. A lot of the competitors are really struggling. In the last race at the finish, which was D Heat, I had clocked 6 boats that I thought had guaranteed promotion. The wind then shifted and the 4th, 5th and 6th boats just fell away because the wind shifted 30 degrees and a bunch of boats came through inside them. So it's really tough and frustrating. And the reason for this is the wind's coming over the reservoir wall and it's rolling down the reservoir. So there are lines of wind and there are lines of calm. You just have to find the right one.
Well, it's time to go racing. Let's go.
Fantastic. Okay, good. So we've moved the course. The wind shifted to the south, which is not quite what was forecast, but there's a line of cloud coming up, which may have something to do with the shift of the wind. So we're off the clubhouse now. We're up in the crow's nest. We're about probably 80 feet above the water line. So this will be a drone-like footage of the racing. So we have one camera right on the start line. We have another camera up towards the windward mark. So we should be able to give you some really good footage showing the boats spread across the course. So we're coming in, the clock has started, 1 minute to go, and at the moment it looks like everybody wants to be at the starboard end. That's probably where I'd want to be. But you never know with Datchet. If you come into the shore, sometimes you get a really nice good port lift. So we'll see how that plays out. But at the moment, I think right end of the start line and along starboard will deliver a good result. So we'll see how they get on. 2 Brits down at the port end. Oh, one's bailed out. Get my crib sheet. So here they go. We've got a great view of the start line this time, so we'll see how they get on. Looking like a clear start. 126. That's Josh King from the UK. That's going to hurt his promotion chances. Now what you can see is the boats coming into the shore are getting seriously headed. But a bit like the other course, we've got a bunch of boats going out to the right, and they may get a steadier breeze. Certainly there's no wind on this side of the course, and the boats out in the middle are heeled over under good pressure. So whilst I said the starboard end, hold the starboard tack would be good, everything's changed. And I can see more breeze coming down, looking to come down to the right side of the course. Just gone completely flat in the middle. But the boats out to the right have pressure and they have a lifting breeze and there's new wind coming towards them. There's breeze coming down now for the boats on the left hand side. This is like playing poker. You have to decide which side you're going to go. Suddenly the left hand side is beginning to look attractive. It depends if they get the wind or not. 48 coming across is Paul Jones. He's tacked. He's going to get some nice breeze. Yeah, look at that, a big lefty. Now if they get wind all the way to the weather mark, they're going to be sitting very pretty. But they've got a bit of a header. There are flags all the way down the shoreline, which are basically almost at 90 degrees to the wall of the reservoir. So you would think the boats on the left would get a nice breeze. But it's not getting down to them. I think what's happening is rolling, and the boats to the right are getting the pressure, and the boats to the left are in the sort of hole of the roll, if you get my meaning. So we have a leader, and the leader is 90, closely followed by Tony Edwards of the UK. 90 is Odd Stray from Norway. Then close behind them is Yellow 19, which is Norbert Heinz again. So he was promoted from the last race. Then behind him 193, which is Remco Sol from the Netherlands. Should be able to remember him. He's the highest number in the fleet. Then we have Paolo Cappa 130. 67 is Pierre Mechen, another promoted boat. And 13 is Paolo Wolper. So the fleet crawls slowly down the run. This is really going to be a game of proper snakes and ladders. I won't call any of the promoting positions this race, because you just know when you make a call it's all going to change. So Tony Edwards is in the lead as they come down to the leeward gate. Drifting slowly, all seem to be in the same breeze at the moment. Nobody becalmed. So the boat that was over the line, which was Graham, no, it's 126, wasn't it? The boat that was over the line, he's stuck in the back at the moment. Graham Elliott is one of the furthest boats out into the reservoir, and he seems to be sitting in nice pressure. A couple of the boats inshore are experiencing a lack of wind, and I think Tony Edwards is going to take the left gate and probably rely on the fact that there's a steadier breeze out in the reservoir. And then Odd Stray is going to test his luck coming inshore. But looking at the first beat, coming inshore looked pretty horrible. But as I say, you never know. So third and fourth boats are going out. Tony Edwards has tacked up. We can see another band of breeze coming down, but whether it's going to go left or right, I wouldn't say. I think right is definitely the side to be on. The fleet's evenly split. Half of it going left, half of it going right. Tony Edwards tacks on to Odd Stray, a very long tack. And then we've got 193, who went further out, coming up on a nice breeze. That was Remco Sol. Paolo Cappa's testing the lifts on the left-hand shore. You can see it's really tricky. So Paolo Cappa now looks really good. And then the boats out in the middle of the lake are sailing really high on starboard. Graham Elliott's found a nice shift in 09, and he's creeping through the fleet. Paolo Cappa's got a little bit of pressure and just rolling everybody. This is entertainment at its best if you're watching, and probably hell on earth if you're sailing. So Paolo's got some real pressure now. Tony Edwards, who was leading, is now sitting in a bit of a hole, and he's lost 4 places at least. And Paolo Cappa just sails serenely on, but he's got a long way to go. Josh King, who was over the line, has come over to explore this left-hand lift, and that may pull him up into there's a chance it could bring him up into a promoting position, depending on whether he holds the pressure or not. At the moment he's getting headed. He could do with a bit of a lift. Tim Hand in the distance is exploring the left-hand side. I think he's well out of it. I think he's really going to struggle. Josh King has caught on the wrong side of that right-hand shift. And around the mark goes Paulo Kappa in the lead, followed by Paulo Wolper in 13. On the left-hand side is Tony Edwards. Get my binoculars in the right place. Yeah, Tony Edwards on the left-hand side. Then we've got Odd Stray, Remco Sol from the Netherlands, Graham Elliott close behind. Wow, this is challenging. The wind's died again for the group that's just gone round the weather mark. Really tricky pattern here. I just have a feeling this weather pattern is being caused by a set of clouds that have settled to the east of the reservoir. It's caused the wind to shift to the southeast, which is not a great direction for Datchet. But it does mean all the boats are sailing up and down the clubhouse, which is good for spectators. So our two leaders are tracking down the centre of the course. Tony Edwards is trying his luck at the outside in the reservoir, and there are a group of 5 down on the nearest to us who have picked up a bit of pressure, and poor old Tony is not getting any of that. He's just coming into it now. Yeah, Tony's just got some pressure now, but it's going to be too little too late. So just goes to show you can go from first to 3, 6, 7, 8, first to 8th in a beat and a run. So Paulo Kappa going round the right hand mark, looking to exploit anything off the left. Pablo Wolper following behind. Odd Stray behind him. So the first 3 have managed to keep their positions despite the vagaries of the wind. Tony Edwards going round the left hand mark, and he's the only one at the moment. So it's either going to be very good for him or not. So, whoa. Paulo Kappa caught out by a starboard boat. Not great sailing into the fleet with on port when they're all on starboard. But he's still in the hunt for a promotion place. He's got 6 boats outside him, so he's not going to want a right hand shift. Pablo Wolper is looking good now in the middle. So he's coming up to the finish, and he's actually on the ley line for the finish. So Pablo's going to be our winner. 13, I just double check that number. Yep, Pablo's our winner. Second is 67. Oh no, second is 193. Then 67. Then Odd Stray 90. Then Paulo Kappa in 130. So there are promoted boats, and Tony Edwards sadly got dumped out of it. I think Graham Elliott may be I think he was the seventh boat. So disappointing for the British there. And Josh King is, after being over the line, is at the he's actually fighting for demotion. And in fact, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think Josh King might be going down, because he is one of the last 6 boats. Okay, I think that's it for now. We'll be back for B heat. Really scary racing. Okay, here we are for the start. We've now moved the course down opposite the clubhouse. We've had Heat C, which had a very challenging race. We're now into Heat B, and they've moved the course down a little bit, so fingers crossed the wind might be a bit steadier. Breeze is up. The line, it looks as though it's got it's hard to tell. The fleet are lining up for what looks like the starboard end, but they may creep down because there's still, I think, a minute to go. Just allow a bit of that to run. Okay, 40 seconds to go.
It needs to be a bit longer.
Yeah, I just want to move that in there. So you can see the fleet lining up. It looks like it's port end. It's a port end start. Actually, if I put the mic on, we might get some. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, gun. Definitely port end favoured. So we're going to have the fleet piling into the bank, a couple of large buoys to negotiate. Likelihood is they'll get a header as they come inshore. A few boats have tacked onto port and are sailing out into the reservoir, but it looks as though there's a more consistent breeze up this clubhouse side of the course. So who have we got? We've got Remco Sol in 193. We've got 13 from Chile, which is Pablo Wolper, on the left hand side. And then as we come up, the boats right out, furthest boats out, are getting nice pressure. And there's one boat, I think that's the 134 of Tim Hand. No, it's 22. That's Martin Roberts, past world champion many years ago. So he's looking good. He's punched out in front of all the other boats. The question is, will he get a right hand shift to come across? So the boats behind Martin are tacking up. Martin's tacked as well to cover, and it's just a question of who's going to get the pressure. There are some calm patches emerging. Martin's getting a little lift and maybe a smidge of pressure. Now he's got a header and he's stopped. He's obviously found a bit of a hole. He's in one of those rolls. So he's just put Remco Sol about, and now the boats on the left hand side are flying into the mark. So Martin, having been on a ladder, now finds himself on a bit of a snake. It's all about rolling the dice, but he should get round the mark first. So our leader is round, and that's 46 from Australia, which is Sean Bradley from the USA. Then 55 is Mark Gollison from the USA. Then 13, I think that's Pablo Wolper. And the orange boat, Martin Roberts, 22, 193 Remco Sol. And then the orange boat of the orange vis of Odd Stray. So those are our 6 leaders, but they're by no means guaranteed a podium finish, because this wind is just going to play all sorts of tricks on them. So cruising down slowly. And while they're doing that, I think a big shout out to all the volunteers for this event. I did have a comment from somebody that you have too many volunteers, but there's an awful lot that needs to be done when you're running an event in a place the size of Datchet. In our view, the more volunteers the merrier, because it gives some time to have a break and watch the racing. So so the leaders haven't changed. So round the leeward mark we have the orange boat, can't see the numbers, but basically they're the same leaders. The top 6 have remained in place. 2 have gone out and 2 are coming into the shore on this side. I would fancy the reservoir side of the course, centre of the reservoir side of the course would be better, but you just don't know until you get to the corner. So coming off the left hand side is 46 from the USA, which is Sean Bradley. Then we've got Mark Gollison, so USA looking to get back in the A heat. Then when they tack on to port, I can give you their names and numbers. Everybody coming in shore on port at the moment, as there's a good left-hand lift. So coming into the pontoon now, if I can focus, is 13, which is Pablo Wolper from Chile. And I think he's gained by coming in. I think he's I think he's just taken the lead. Easily taken the lead. So Odd Stray, the orange boat, number 90 is, let's check that's right, yeah, Odd Stray is 2nd or 3rd. Martin Roberts, 22, is 4th or 5th, with the 2 Americans, 55 and 17, they are being headed as they go out now. So there's 6 boats in a promoting position, but there are 2, 4, 5 who could get in the mix. In fact, Mark Gollison, 55, has just gone out of the mix on that shift. So now we see what happens as they go into the mark. There are a couple of calm spots there. So 193 Remco Sol has hit a bit of a flat spot. Number 17 has hit a flat spot. And there's a puff coming down which may favour Mark Gollison. Boats out to the right now have a massive lift with pressure. So we have a new leader in Odd Stray. And Pablo Wolper has been forced to go for the left-hand mark, so he'll go round joint second with, where have they gone? Martin Roberts, who's picked up, and USA, and that's Sean Bradley, 46. So there's a good gap for the top four, and there's a fight for 5th, 6th and 7th place. And unfortunately Mark Gollison has hooked up with a boat, and it's taken him out of the race. He's hooked up with 113, which is Elio Cavallo. That's really going to hurt them, and they're still locked together, so I think they're out of the race. So one of them should be able to seek redress, depending on who was in the right. They are firmly locked together. Oh, now they've just cleared, I think. Nope, they're still tied together. Okay, back to the leaders. Oh, now they've released. So back to the leaders. Odd Stray. Which way will he go? I think he's going to the left mark, which has consistently been better. Going round second is 90. Sorry, that's Odd Stray. Second is Sean Bradley. Third is Martin Roberts, 22. Pablo Wolper in 13th is 4th. Craig Richards has come into the mix, 02 in 5th. And then 33, Robert Matulja has come into the mix as well. So it's going to be a real nerve-wracking last beat, and Alex Scapins in 186, 106 is close behind. So at the moment it's a bit of a drag race. And there's going to be a big fight for the last promotion place. I think the front four are fairly safe, but I have said that before. There's a big band of breeze coming down from the southwest, and now unfortunately the other course is looking looking very good. It's a race officer's nightmare today with the wind shifting left and right. It's just gone through probably 30 degrees, so they're all reaching up to the finishing line. And we have, so let's watch the finish. So first is Odd Stray. No, first is Australia, 46. Then it's Pablo Wolper. Then it's Martin Roberts, 22. Then it's Croatia, 33. Then Craig Richards. Then Alex Scapins. And 142 from Croatia. So there, 142 is Sven Ferenc. So there are leaders, and now the rest of the fleet will sail up to the line and we'll get set for Heat A. Okay, here we are, the excitement building for the A heat. Not sure whether excitement's the right word because it's very calm. So this is going to be a major challenge. Hopefully they've all got nice slack rigs and everything loose, because if they don't, they're going to struggle. As you can see, it's pretty calm. I'd be surprised if we actually get this fleet away, but we'll see what the race officer thinks. We're just desperate to try and finish the race off. Of course, the critical thing will be to see if our leader works his magic yet again. Oh, and there we go. They've canned the start because there's no wind.
Gives me a minute.
But there is wind up the reservoir. We've just got to wait for it. Yeah, very disappointing on the start of the second half of the event. But you can see watching them, they're just drifting along oh so slowly. Not really fair racing at this stage. So we're probably going to wait another few minutes. As soon as the winds hit the start, they'll run the clock. Okay, here we are back with race 13, heat A. And the excitement builds, but sadly, the wind doesn't. There's another 350 people fly overhead, leaving the country, out from Heathrow. So we have a little bit of breeze coming down, so fingers crossed they should get a steady wind. Now what the direction is,
Going right at 1 minute time. You ready with your top 5?
so breeze filling in, but it looks as though it's gone right. Okay.
Okay, this is race 13, heat A. We have gone first of all from the southwest course to the clubhouse course for a while when the wind shifted, and we are now back on the southwest course. Now Nigel, who are the top 5 going into this race?
Alexis Carey on 20 points, Rob Walsh on 51, Robert Matulja on 52, Zonko Jelicic on 57 and Romain Dubray on 57.
Now we had a very light patch earlier and you can see how light it is on the water, but we've got a bit of breeze right now and it's looking relatively square, so hopefully we'll get this away. They're lining up with just under 30 seconds to go. 20 seconds now.
And we have Guillermo Beltri at the leeward end and Pablo Wolper from Chile. Guillermo definitely wants the port end.
And I can see Alexis Carey quite far back on this line. Where are we going to see they go?
General recall. Have another go. A little echo from behind us. Where's Alexis? Did he bail out? See, Alexis tacked out immediately. Okay, so we'll try and run that again as we reset the clock. More breeze coming down the lake and it should stabilize from the southwest. There's a nice cloud street coming down over Datchet, so I'm hoping that it will give us a stable breeze for the afternoon.
Okay, we are coming into race 13, heat A. We had briefly gone across to the clubhouse course for a few of the starts and a few of the races when the wind went round, but we're back to southwest, a very light wind now on Datchet water, and we've had a single general recall so far, and we're hoping this time they'll get away with about 45 seconds to go to the start. Now Nigel, who are our top 5 going into the race?
Alexis Carr on 20 points, Rob Walsh on 51, Robert Matulja on 52, Zonko Jelicic 57 and Romain Dubray on the same score, 57.
Now this is going to be a really tricky race. You can see the patchiness on the water, and so finding those bands of pressure is going to be vital.
So at the windward end we've got Zonko Jelicic, and at the leeward end we've got Carlos Beltry and Brian Shaw's in 117 and Darren Ballington in 98. Here we go. Martin Roberts flying down to leeward.
That is a great start. Oh no,
Yeah.
General Regal, why?
We got to do it again.
I might post that.
Yeah, yeah, I would.
I think that's great. I'm going to do it right now.
Bit of excitement. Think of all those poor people working who are bored at their desks.
It's a lovely finish. Why?
So they do a little practice beat. I think they're going to move the outer end of the mark. Just moving it up. If you have a look at the rescue boat, you can just see how much the mark is moving. Probably moved at about 15-20 feet. Now they've dropped it, so they put a little bit more port bias onto the line. Now a few boats have gone so far out, they've got to watch out that they can get back in time for the next start. Yeah, Zonko is one of those right out to windward. I think they could be in trouble. Just got to hope for their sake they get a little bit of breeze to bring them back. The race office has been a little bit kind, just delayed the start of the countdown. Zonko should be down in about 30 seconds, along with Rob Walsh and Craig Richards. More wind coming in. There's lots of sparkling on the reservoir to windward, so I think they'll have a nice bit of breeze for this beat. Will we see another general recall? Got 30 out at the windward end. Ante having a little practice. He with the novel sheeting system. So they're all getting into position for the start.
Okay, we are going into the third attempt to start race 13, heat A. We're back on the southwest course after briefly being on the clubhouse course. 1 minute to go to the start. Nigel, who are our top 5 coming into the race?
Alexis Carey on 20 points, Robert Walsh on 51, Robert Matulja on 52, Zonko Jelicic on 57, and Romain Debray on the same score, 57.
Now we've got a bit more breeze come in than we've seen on the previous 2 starts. This is great news, and it's looking pretty square to the course. Let's hope this time they get away.
At the windward end we've got Zonko Jelicic. He's been sitting there for the best part of 40 seconds. There are a few other boats that are trying to crowd him out. We have Guglielmo Beltry at the leeward end in 47. We have Jan Springer just to windward of him in number 10. Martin Roberts in 121. Craig Richards in 02. And then there's 117 Brian Shaw. So there's a real crowd down at this port
3
end.
3 seconds to go. All clear, we're off.
So one of the best starts there is our friend Alexis Carey, who's out to windward. He managed to get just in front of Zonko Jelicic. So you've got 73 and 35 to windward. 40 from Croatia is just to leeward. Romain Debray is to leeward of 40 in the blue 77. Who else have we got of our leaders? So Peter Feldman, yep, just to leeward of Olivier Cohen, so 44 just to leeward of 100. Rob Walsh is just to leeward of them, and they're all going to have a challenge tacking off the bank. They've got to hope the wind holds for them. But I think the boats to the right are probably going to get the better of the pressure. We shall see.
Now, if you look where the rib is on the picture, that is Alexis Carre just crossing him on starboard tack. And so you can see a really nice position. He's just gone across back onto port, looking for that pressure that you can see on that offshore side, the right hand side of the course. It looks like, yeah, he's taking a nice little lift across there as well. Funnily enough, he's on a lift. He's been catching them all day and all of Tuesday.
He's Alexis Carre is just sailing away from the fleet. It's quite impressive to watch. I don't know how he does this. So he's pushing out. There are 3, 6, 7 boats heading out into the reservoir on port, including Alexis.
It's Alexis, we can see centre of picture, just to the right of the rib. And he's tacked onto starboard right now. Absolutely incredible sailing.
Not such a good heading. He's getting knocked as he comes in. Interestingly, the boats further out have got a little bit more pressure and are lifting. I wonder if Alexis has got himself between the two bands of breeze.
We've got a huge group on the left-hand side, right by the wall. They're coming in so close. We'll see how they come out as well. I just got this feeling that Alexis has nailed it again. Just looking at where the buoys are, the boats from the right-hand side had a long way to come in.
So, where's he gone?
Here he comes in, his final tack in to the windward gate. He's rounded.
So Alexis is up on the right-hand gate with Zonko. He's just got inside Zonko. So Alexis is joint leading. Oh, Romain Debray is ahead, sorry. Then Zonko, then Alexis. And behind them, number 10, Jan Springer, then 46 of the USA, Ante just behind him, Jan Springer to windward.
Okay, you can join us for the second part of this video, which will be the final run, and then the upwind to the finish.
So, whistles blowing from the umpires. So we'll see how Alexis gets on. We know that the second beat is going to be critical, and there's no guarantee which side you're on is going to be correct, because as we saw in the previous race, right on the finishing line, the wind shifted and suddenly the lead boats were almost reversed. So Romain Debray is pulling out a little bit of a lead. Good to see Zonko in front and Ante just behind. And then some of the others, 10 is Jan Springer, I was right on that. 40 is Tonko Puljits. 39 is Pete Stollery. 46 from the USA is Sean Bradley. So really close at the moment. I mean, I wouldn't like to call it one way or the other. Zonko's on a good line. This is perfect FIS weather. And I know from my time in Australia at the Worlds that Ian Vickers in the V12 was no slouch in light weather. So I'm looking forward to see Alexis maintain his position. They've all got to be really careful and steady on their manoeuvring. Any sharp moves and the boat's going to slow down. So it looks like Zonko's maybe going for the right mark. There's separation between the two. Or no, he's going for the left mark and he's just got his nose in front. Alexis has got his nose in front of, I think it's Ante. Around he goes. So there's Alexis, Romain de Bry second, and Ante's next. 10 is Jan Springer. Oh, Jan Springer. Oof, that was close. Pete Stollery went round the right mark. He's leading the groups away with Guglielmo Beltri behind him. Peter Feldman, 44, just behind him. Martin Roberts in 22. And then 48 of America, which was short pull. Sorry, that was 46 from America, Sean Bradley. Darren Ballington in the blue boat, tacking behind on port. Now it's getting really tricky. This is where we see the snakes and ladders starting to develop. So we've got Ante out to windward with Tonko Puljits. I hope I say that right. Apologies, Tonko, if I get it wrong. Assuming you look at this video later. So Zonko is just sailing away from the fleet at the moment. Alexis Carr is struggling a little bit for pressure. He's not quite got in the groove. Zonko is, oh, there's a puff coming down the inside. Alexis has got becalmed, he's very upright, and the boats on the left are leaning over in pressure. Could this be all about to change? Majority of the fleet are coming in to the left. Zonko's tacked onto a nice lift and he's just sailing away from the fleet. This is just his weather. So Romain de Bry is coming across. Alexis Carre is still pretty much becalmed. Just needs a bit of breeze to get moving. This will be a real test of nerve. He doesn't need to win, he just needs to get a nice single figure result. So Zonko's just chugging forward. Romain de Bry is holding second nicely. Guglielmo Beltri in 47 is nicely in third. Pete Stollery's up there. Jan Springer's there. And Alexis Carre, if he gets some pressure, he may get back to third. Just depends how the wind behaves. The boats inshore are really struggling. Olivier Cohen had a look at getting near the wall and is coming out at a lowish angle in not much wind. Alexis is going to be sailing into a bit of a header, which isn't going to help him because the boats near the shore are going to tack onto port on a nice lift. And one of those tacking across now is Craig Richards in number 2. And he's not looking bad. So Alexis is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's possibly 6 at the moment. Let's see, he's getting close to Jan Springer. He's past Jan Springer, so he might be 5th. Guglielmo's tacked onto him. Now Alexis on the left hand side has got to leeward of a bunch of starboard boats, which may or may not be a problem for him. It depends how the wind shifts as he makes his tack for the mark. I think he's going to be coming back at a horrible angle, and there are a load of starboard boats coming in, but we shall see. So, right, first round is Zonko, second round is Pete Stollery. Where on earth did he come from? Good old wily Pete, 2011 world champion. Still got it in him. Ante round 3rd. Tonko round 4th in 40. That's Alexis in 5th. And then Guglielmo 47 in 6th. Followed by Romain Dubray, Jan Springer, Craig Richards in 02. So that's a turn up. Pete Stollery, I'm well impressed with that. I lost track of him. He must have got on the right side of that right hand shift. Good man. Oh, we're joined by Dave Lindsay.
Paint dry this, isn't it?
Luckily we didn't hear what he said, but the word paint was mentioned. I'm sure you can guess.
And dry. He's always Mr. Positivity.
Yeah. So Zonko just coming down nicely.
So we're picking up on race 13, heat A. And this is the final run down towards the gate, and then they'll come up to the finish line, which is off to our left of screen. And who have we got in the lead, Nigel?
Well, we've got Zonko Jelicic first in his Viz, perfect weather for him, followed by Pete Stollery, who sailed an amazing second beat to come out of the pack into second place. Third is Ante. There's a little group of 3 boats out there with Ante, Tonko Puljets and Alexis Carre right on the outside. Possibly not the best position to be because the wind's beginning to die and there are boats coming up behind into leeward with a bit more pressure.
Now you can see just how patchy this breeze is. We started in a decent breeze, but it's been coming and going, this breeze, and right now it's on the going stage.
Absolutely right. I think Zonko is going to take the left-hand gate. There is a band of breeze coming down from the far side of the reservoir, but there is a big calm patch in between. So who knows which way it's going to head.
So here is Zonko rounding that leeward gate, taking the offshore mark. Inshore, you've got the feeling you could really dig into some holes. He's gone straight into attack. This gives him the option to cover depending on what Pete Stollery does.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to want to go into the fleet, but having said that, he could do a very nice tack through there. No, he's going to go through the fleet. He is on.
We've got a bit going on here with a bit of luffing coming into the leeward mark, but they are all on port. A lot going on coming into this leeward gate.
Zoom in on that mark.
This is really tight on this leeward gate. A lot going on. Who has come out? It looks like we've got 40 just ahead of 30, and then 73 on the far mark, and on the near mark we've got 13 followed by 44, then 47, and then 77. Huge amount going on at that mark.
So look out in the middle of the reservoir. We've got Alexis on a nice breeze going out on port. He's seen the new wind coming down, and I think he'll tack, and the only danger is they're almost laying the finishing line. So he's not going to have to tack, but he's just got to be careful that the boats underneath him don't sneak in, because they're all going to lay the line in one.
Another one of these bands of pressure has come down, but it is very right-handed this time. And so we're going to see, is it because he's on the inside of the shift, will it favour him? Will the boats on the left fall out of the breeze? Alexis has managed to always weave his way through when he's in a difficult position, but with this light stuff, a lot is in the lap of the gods. We're going to see how he does here.
I think he's easily in third, because the boats to leeward now are definitely going to have to tack out, and I don't think the angle is going to be very pleasant for them.
So what we're looking at now is this pack of 3 who are on the left-hand side, The leaders are away, and that is Zonko.
Zonko first.
Who is looking, well, unless everything goes wrong, he's way ahead. And then Pete Stollery. It is this battle for third where things are really heating up.
I think they've finished.
Yeah, he has already.
Yeah. So Pete Stollery's second, and then it's the battle for third.
Centre of picture, we can see Alexis Carré, FRA 73. Now it doesn't look like he is going to have to tack, and that's going to be a big advantage. We can see now a few of the boats on the left have tacked across. Where are they going to be? I think Alexis is ahead of them.
Yep, Alexis is going to be third, and then it's a question of fourth, fifth and sixth. They've all tacked early for the finishing line.
That group of four is really tight on the left-hand mark at the finish.
One of them's
Alexis
not going to
third.
make it. So Ante, I think, has got fourth, and then third, Pablo Walper and Peter Feldman have got fourth and fifth. Not sure about the sixth because I couldn't see the other end.
So a very difficult race, that one, with the wind up and down. Zonko took the win, Pete Stollery second, but there it was, Alexis Carré again putting in a top result, a third place, when at times he looked in a really difficult position. The full video will be going up on YouTube later, but this is our highlight from race 13, Heat A finish.
Terrific. And now the remaining boats come across the finishing line. You'd have to describe that as exciting at the leeward mark because there were so many boats going around the marks at the same time, courtesy of Ante luffing the two boats to windward of him way wide of the left-hand gate, and then he jibed in, and when they came in there was a stack of boats coming in going round the mark at the same time. But Alexis, another top three finish. Every time he does that, it puts him further ahead of the field. That's it for now. We'll be back with Race E in a few minutes.
We have just finished race 13. There was quite a bit of disruption as the wind moved around. We had to go across to the clubhouse course behind us, but we're now back on the southwest course where we had Heat A went underway in light winds, very patchy. Nigel, what was your view of the race and who came out on top?
Well, scary race. It was custom made for Zonko really in the Viz because they love these conditions. On the start and halfway up the first beat, we have real concerns for Alexis Carré, but he managed to hang in the sort of top 5, top 6. Down the run, really tricky again, and then at the leeward mark we saw a huge bunch of boats, mainly caused by Ante, who luffed two boats to weather of him, way wide for the mark. Then they all came in on starboard, and about 6 to 8 boats tried to go round the left-hand mark at the same time.
What we've seen Alexis do is sneak through in those difficult situations, and so he managed to keep the speed up. It was incredible to watch, and he's doing this time and time again.
Yeah, the last beat, he came around the left-hand gate, he saw the band of pressure coming down, sailed out to it, tacked, and then sailed all the way to the line in one, keeping to windward of a whole row of, there were 6 to 8 boats to leeward of him that could have crossed him. But he got in the wind, just sailed fast, and he was safely home in third. So Zonko won. Pete Stollery, who came out of nowhere on the second beat by cunningly playing the shifts, he came in second, and he starts to shape his campaign up for the rest of the two and a half days.
Well, it looks like we've got a bit of breeze in, so we're now into the race 14 heats. Heat E is out there. It's time to go again.